Welcome back on WatchAdvisor on YouTube. With me today is Sylvain Dolla, who is the CEO.
Alexander.
Hello, Sylvain, who is the CEO of Hamilton, and we are broadcasting today from Biel in Switzerland, in the heart of Switzerland. That's that part of Switzerland, just to explain you guys, where you have both languages, French and
German.
French and German, so people talk both. So it's in the middle of where Switzerland is going to separate in between those who speak German and French, and here's the.
And that's why we're going to speak English together.
Yes,
today.
this is why. This is okay. You took my joke. Sorry.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
Sylvain, let's go back in history a little bit. 1969 was a pretty interesting year for the watch industry because two very famous products or movements were created in the past. And Hamilton was part of one of those creating.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit of...
Yes, that's one of the reasons why I love working for Hamilton, is that we have such a great history. Many milestones in the watch industries have been created by Hamilton. First electric watch, first digital watch with the LED famous pulsar, and among the first chronograph. And the idea is that in 1960s, companies gathered together. So it was Heuer, Breitling, Dubois Dépraz, and Hamilton via its subsidiary in Switzerland called Büren. And we gathered the joint forces and created the first chronograph, mechanical chronograph automatic. And the name of the movement is the famous Chrono-Matic. And we have here all the key famous Chrono-Matic that were launched by Hamilton in the years 69 to 72.
And we have also to say, of course, that there was also Zenith doing it in the past. He's not talking about Zenith, that's me doing. So there was that competition, in between the El Primero, the first one, and the Caliber 11 that's on the table here. And it's about the historians, I think, who should tell you, if you're really interested, who was first. We know who was first. And there was a little bit of a tricky situation. The one had it ready, the other announced it earlier and hadn't it ready yet. So it's a little bit of a... You know the story.
Yeah, I know the story.
But who cares in the end?
Who cares?
Yeah.
But the most fair answer, I think, is to say that Zenith announced it first, and the consortium, so Hamilton, Heuer, Breitling, were the first three brands to launch commercially in the market in the year 69.
So one announced first, the other one sold first. So.
Yes.
Okay. But they are iconic watches anyhow.
Yes.
So.
Caliber 11 is an icon, first Chrono-Matic, first chronograph automatic. And we are very proud because here we have a good part of the history around these models. We have the Chronograph A, which was a beautiful chronograph launched in 69. Also launched in 69, the blue version. And I have to say, Hamilton was already trendsetting because in the 60s, you didn't have so many blue dies like that in classic watches.
It's amazing. I have to really quickly go into what... it's amazing. Now people discuss so much, blue dies, where do they come from? Blue, a watch has to be either gray or black, black or gray, gray or black. But there was blue even in 1969 and earlier. If you look at this wonderful, gorgeous watch, it's amazing. So it's not new. So all of you discussing if this blue is new, it's not new. It was there already in the very early days of,
And then this one is very interesting. It's the Fontainebleau, known internally as the Chronograph C, and was also launched in 1969. And what I love also with Hamilton is that we have a lot of daring design, very strong shapes.
Yeah, it makes me smile a little bit.
Yes, the Fontainebleau is known among collectors as a really very particular piece. So it's Chronograph C.
And Fontainebleau is, by the way, the name of a French city and castle. And today you have that famous business school INSEAD there. And so this is probably the watch all those who are making their diplomas at Fontainebleau will get the watches. No, it's a daring design.
Yes,
crazy.
Well, very strong. And talking about daring design, the Chronograph D also, which I have in my hand. Also, I mean, you have to put back in perspective in 1969. It's really daring, it's strong character. And that's what Hamilton is all about, really, this American spirit of bringing strong character, strong design to the watch. That's the Chronograph D.
So you have been numbering by alphabet.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a turning bezel, we have a tachymeter scale, and the interesting thing is all these watches have the crown, the winding crown on the wrong side. So if you're asking yourself, why is this? the purpose at the time being was to say, okay, since it's an automatic chronograph, we don't need the crown anymore at the right side. So it's less important. We still needed to set the time, but winding has become less important. So we put the crown on the other side.
And that gives a balanced design. I love it.
And the push pieces of the chronograph are really in the focus of the watch. And it's a very particular design. And you probably have seen the design also at Heuer. At the time being, they did a similar watch.
And probably my favorite in terms of design. And this is the 1972 model that was integrating also the special caliber. And there, our colleagues from the past added the GMT function. And talking about daring design, strong character, you have these red pushers, gives a very, very particular design. Lots of information on the dial, lots of character. And this is actually the model that we have decided to reinterpret to celebrate the 50th anniversary of this key milestone in the history of watchmaking by launching this year reinterpretation, but very close to the original design in a limited edition of 1,972 pieces.
Now, the question that has to come is, we're talking about celebrating the caliber 11 that was presented in 1969. Mm-hmm. And you, Hamilton, you don't go for this watch, but you go for a watch that came 3 years later, 1972.
On purpose.
On purpose. Why?
Because we love the design. It's so strong. It's
so you decided, okay, out through the design, we go for 1970.
We celebrate the launch of the movement, but we picked the model that we think has the strongest character in the collection that was integrating this caliber 11. And for me, it's clearly the 1972 edition, which really is daring in terms of character. And when I saw it, I said, no, that's the one we have to make as an anniversary piece.
I can follow your decision, because if you look at the watch, this watch really is strong in terms of design. But now the thing is explained also for you, because I imagine first comment would have been, why don't they do the watch from 1969?
Exactly.
They might do it in the future. You never know. It is possible.
It is definitely possible.
It is definitively possible. So look at this watch once again. And if Sylvain said it's definitively possible, so we probably are going to see this 1969
we'll see.
Piece.
Future will tell.
At Hamilton someday from now. And also maybe with the blue dial. This would fit very much to me, you know. I'm very much into blue, as today, blue. Would be nice. The Fontainebleau is not an option.
The Fontainebleau is very interesting. I like to keep it in the museum collection.
That design, I don't think it will be a success. Okay. Unless you launch it probably with a crazy designer or something.
Let's put it that way. I didn't pick this one to honor the anniversary of the movement, but
it's
in terms of breaking rules of design. That's why I love also at Hamilton. You have the Lloyd family, the Ventura. The Ventura is an iconic shape, triangular. Bringing back this type of shape in the 50s and the 60s was really a breakthrough from Hamilton. We were really the only brand playing with crazy shapes. And today we want to keep this strong character in our collection, and that's why we continue to work in particular the Ventura a lot. Because it's unique shape.
And talking about Hamilton in general, the brand, as we just learned, is very much filled with history. You are pulling out a lot of the history now. You're coming with iconic watches. How would you say is the proportion in between the regular collection, the bread and butter collection, and those special pieces?
Okay, for me it's very important that we remain very modern, very contemporary. And we have never pushed more vintage-inspired pieces this year or the year before. We have always been constant. We are not following a trend. There are a lot of brands that have no history that now invent themselves a vintage watch. He's
always answering the questions I wanted to ask him next.
Okay, that's.
Thank you, Sylvain,
sorry
for
about
doing
that.
No, but this would have been my question. Yeah.
And for us, it's part of our strategy to honor to pay tribute to our rich history, but we have to think forward. We have to bring modernity in the collection. So, having said that, every year we like to reinterpret one watch.
Yeah.
But it's one watch, maybe 3 references out of 65 new references that we launch.
Yeah, no, I've been reading.
Abuse of the historical piece.
I've been reading a lot of comments recently about people be worrying and say, okay, brands have no more idea what to bring, and so they come just with their historical collections in lack of ideas. So this is not the case with
No, definitely. And I will show you, for example,
we will do that later.
Some new models. At the year end, we have this specific anniversary.
Okay. So you're really trying to
the Royal Air Force. But during the year, we have brought some very strong character piece like the Murph, which is completely new, the khaki Murph. Like we have been launching some strong Ventura design. So yes, let's keep looking forward.
But the historical collection will always be part of...
Always.
Okay.
I mean, I've been 15 years with Hamilton. Every year I've seen a reinterpretation because we have some super piece that would be crazy to ignore or crazy not to work on because they're just beautiful pieces. But what we try to do, we always try to be very close to the original if we do a reinterpretation.
Okay. Also, in terms of sizes, Hamilton is very much listening to what the general public wants to buy or what watch collectors are looking for. So the size, besides of, okay, this one is a big watch because it was a big watch. Yeah. It has exactly the same size as in 1972. But there are going to be watches now coming, and that will be on the next video. So if you haven't seen the video with that military historical pieces yet, please be sure not to miss it. And Hamilton is, as we just talked, probably also thinking to relaunch these original 1969 pieces, but in an original size. So we are going to stay small, thin as possible, or not too thick. Yeah. And that's what people are asking for. And at Hamilton, you probably will.
That's why we have invested to create hand-winding movement. The idea was to really gain height, to be as slim as possible. Yeah. And it's a big success for our khaki field mechanical hand-winding collection. And that's really the fact that we have been able to remove a little bit of thickness from the watch.
Great. Sylvain Dolla, the CEO of Hamilton, presenting the new limited edition watch. It is going to launch these days. Today is the 4th of December. Yes.
Today is the
4th.
And
it's the 4th of December.
Next week it will be starting to reach some market.
And next week, around 10th of December, 11th of December, this watch will be on the markets. Limited edition of 1,972 pieces, sold for
2,495 Swiss francs.
Repeat that again. That's
2,495 Swiss francs,
including the Swiss VAT.
Exactly.
And that's 7.75%.
Almost. Now it's
more? No, 7.8%. Anyhow, people always ask how much is VAT. Okay, it's less than 8% in Switzerland. Yes. 7.75 or 7.8%.
2,495.
95. Amazing value for money. I can tell you that watch is rich in your hands. It's fantastic. Sylvain, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander.
Thank you.